Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. In this one we're going to go over the NBA February 28th, and as you can see the odds are on the screen. We're going to go over that real quick. The analytics of the how the costs relate to each other and what the costs mean, like this minus 108 here for the spread and things like that. We're going to go over that in a moment. But yeah, well, let's get started. Denver Nuggets versus Detroit Pistons. We're going to start with that one. Pretty much, it started off as a pick'em game in the opening. Now it has become distant that Detroit is the clear favorite in this game so far. Minus 126 are their odds on the money line. Plus 108 for the Denver Nuggets on the road. Looks like an easy get if you want to get a little payday here. Plus 108 if that holds up. May end up at the end of the day plus 110, minus 130. But yeah, it could definitely end up at minus 130 for the Detroit Pistons and plus 110 for the Denver Nuggets. Over under is at 236 and a half, minus 112. Under is at 236 and a half, minus 108. And the spread is where you make your money. Plus 1.5 for the Nuggets, minus 108 for the Nuggets on the cost. Plus minus 1.5 for the Pistons, minus 112 for the cost for the Pistons on the spread in that game. Now let's see where the money is going. All right, 44% of the money line on the money going to the Nuggets, 56% of the betting going with the Nuggets. This I think will more than likely increase. And if you see this increase right here, this 44% going with the Nuggets, and this cost does not increase, then more than likely Denver will win this game. If this cost goes up, even to plus 110, which will make more than likely Detroit go to minus 130 on the money line, look out for, and you can see they're basically flipped, 56 44 44 56 betting to money for each team. But yeah, this minus 126 is promising right now, but it's all about where the Nuggets money line is going. It was a lot like the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl odds were a little less than this. It was more of a pick'em game, but it's all about when the odds are this low. It's about what they do with the dog. What do they do with the underdog? How do they adjust this? But yeah, look forward to that. As long as they're going to get more of the money. But watch how their odds adjust. But let's go to the spread. All right, 1.5 minus 108, minus 1.5 minus 112. Let's see where the money is going. 59% of the betting going with the Nuggets, 60% of the money going with the Nuggets on this one. So people looking to get a potential cash out with a good team on the road against Detroit, looking to get this cash out here. And it's basically, with this 1.5, it basically makes it a pick'em game pretty much. So whoever you pick on the money line, you pick on the spread. And yeah, so they're going to go with the dog here. The dog is obviously the safe pick in these scenarios. So the dog looking good in this one. Over unders at 236 and a half, 67% going over, 64% of the money going over. Minus 112 hits more than the minus 108s. Just letting y'all know that right now. Minus 112s hit more than the minus 108s, especially on the totals. Just keep that in mind. So far, and that is a high total. So far, I would join the public in that one. But most East Coast games have been going with the under here recently. But I would join the public in that one. But yeah, let's go to the next one. Portland versus Brooklyn. This is definitely a pick'em game. Minus 106 to minus 110 cost right here on the money line. Spread is at 1 point, minus 110 even for both teams, favoring the Nets are favored at minus 1 point favorites. Over under 218 and a half, minus 110 cost even. Let's see where the money is going. That is a very low total, 218.5, especially for modern day NBA. And it's gone up since the 217.5. 81% going with the overs, 89 of the betting, 89% of the money going over. So, with that much money going with the over, you have to watch how this adjusts. I think as it stands, I would join the public with the over. But as we approach game time, watch how these odds adjust. And you can see the Nuggets and those have the odds have decreased. So look out for the Nuggets in that one. But over under 218.5. I would eventually go with the under. But as long as this, let's say it increases to 219.5. It's gone up from 217.5 from the opening. If that happens, if that were to happen, that 218.5, I would go with the under. As long as they keep going over, they're trying to sway you to going under. And I think you should do that in this case. I don't think it will. I think it'll hold that 218.5. And I would go with the under eventually. But as it currently stands, I would join the public only as it currently stands. And the spread is obviously 1 point. Who you go with on the spread, you go with on the money line. Pick 'em game. Whoever has the highest negative here, you go with as we approach game time. Whoever has the highest negative here, that's who you would go with as we approach game time. Currently, it's the Nuggets, the Nets, at home. And that is 67% going with Portland, 64% going with Portland on the betting, 67% money. Money going 61% Portland, 57% betting on the money line. So I would definitely go with the favorite as it currently stands. Only as it currently stands, but watch how these odds adjust, obviously. If you see Portland go to the plus and they're getting most of the money, you know what to do. All right, Oklahoma City versus Atlanta, minus 750 for the Oklahoma City Thunder on the money line. Open, well, this is currently, obviously, but plus 540 for the Atlanta Hawks as a dog. Minus 12.5 points on the spread, minus 110 cost. Over under for each team, minus 110 cost for each team. Minus 12.5 points. 12.5 point favorites are the Thunder. Over under 241, minus 110 cost even. Let's see. All right, where's the money going? 88% of the betting going with the Oklahoma City Thunder. 48% going of the money going with Oklahoma City. So people looking to cash this Atlanta pick out. Look out for that. Now, you see this 52%, most of the money versus the 88% of the betting. So people putting heavy money on Atlanta looking to get this payday. Look out for that. They're probably going to dupe you here on the spread. 12.5 point underdogs are the Hawks, 59%. I would join the public on the spread. Fade the public money-wise on the money line in this one. Cost is even minus 110. Not much to go on there, but we'll go on where the money is going. The splits, they call it. 32% of the money going with the over 241. 36% going with the over 241 on the betting. 68% going with the under on the money on the total, that is. 68% of the money going with my under 241. I would fade the public and go over as it currently stands. Once again, this is still early Friday morning, so just keep that in mind. Fairly easy game to go by here, especially where the money is going. All right, Cleveland versus Boston. Plus 118 for the Cleveland Cavaliers, minus 138 for the Boston Celtics. Spread is at 2.5 points, minus 110. 2.5 points favoring Boston at home. Over unders at 232.5, minus 110 cost, even across the board. Now let's see where the money is going. All right. 57% are in favor money wise is in going with the Cleveland Cavaliers, getting that once again, looking for the dog in this one, getting the payday. 46% of the betting going with Cleveland on the road, and they are at plus 118 on the road. Money line spread 2.5 points. 54% going with Cleveland. 55% going with Cleveland. So Cleveland is getting most of the betting in this one. People expecting Cleveland to go to Boston and win for this payday. For the payday. Over unders at 232.5. 77% of the money going with them. 70 going with the over. 76% going with the over on the betting. I would join the public in that one, as it currently stands, that is. And in this one, this is one you may want to consider. It's not quite a pick'em game, not quite, but 2.5 point spread. You can definitely go with the different pick on the spread that you do on the money line. And I would recommend doing that here. I would go with Cleveland on the spread, only as it currently stands. But watch how this minus 138 adjusts. This could go down to plus 110, minus 130, or even lower than that for Cleveland. And in that case, I would go with Cleveland. Only in that case. Only in that case. As it currently stands, I would go with Boston. And if Boston increases toward that minus 150 threshold, I would go with Boston in that one. All right. Toronto versus Chicago. This is where, just talking about plus 110, minus 130, I think a lot of games are going to end up like this as we approach tip-off for the night, basically. Tip-off for these individual games. And a lot of these spreads are not very high anymore. +2 for Toronto, -2 for Chicago. Over-unders at 235, minus 110 cost. Minus 110 cost even. Same thing with the spread. Let's see where the money is going. Let me scroll down. All right here. Toronto, 30%. 30% of the money going with Toronto. 27% of the betting going with Toronto here. 70% of the money going with Chicago. 73% of the betting going with Chicago. 27%. Well, we're going to stick to the money line for now. 70% going with here on the money. 73% of the betting going with Chicago at home. And that looks like a safe pick. I would join the public here. 78% going with Chicago on the spread. So basically, this is somewhat of a pick'em game. 2-point spread. It's a bucket. You basically, who you go with on the spread, you pretty much have to go with. Not necessarily, but you pretty much have to go with on the money line. I would do that in this game. I would join the public across the board in this one. Same thing with the total. Over 235, 59% of the money, 62% of the betting. I would go over and join the public across the board in this game. Let's go to the next one. All right, Indiana versus Miami. All right, my bad. Minus 172 for Indiana, plus 144 for Miami at home. Minus 135, minus 3.5 points on the spread. Minus 112 cost for the Indiana Pacers. 3.5-point underdogs are the Heat at minus 108 cost. And the over-unders at 225.5. All right, let's see where the money is going in this one. 90% going with Indiana in this one. 90%, 74% going with Indiana on the money line, that is. All right. Minus 172. I would join the public only for this reason. This is not going to stay 90%. This is not going to stay 90%. This is going to go to about, I'll say about 75, 70%, 72%, somewhere there. And it's going to go down, but watch how the odds adjust. If you see this negative stay the same or increase, Indiana is going to get it. But look out for this 3.5 points right here. This 3.5 points right here, minus 112. Cost going with the Pacers. Let's see where the money's going there. Hold on. 72% of the money going with the Pacers on that one. I would definitely join the public in this one as well. only if this decreases. If this stays above 90%, above 88, 85%, that's where you really need to consider going with Miami here, getting only 10% of the money. But when the sharps go in, they're going to put money on the Miami Heat, and I think that's what most people are going to do late in the day, and that's going to change this significantly. This may even be below 70% for the Pacers here, but 72% of the money going with the Pacers on the spread, minus 112. I would join the public only as it currently stands. Over under is at 15% going over, 85% going under. I would join the public and go with the under in that one. All right, New York, bottom of the screen, New York and Memphis. Knicks versus Grizzlies, plus 138 going with the odds going with the Knicks, minus 164 for the Grizzlies. Over unders at 244.5, minus 110 costs. Unders at 244.5, minus 110 costs for the total. Spread is at 3.5 points, minus 110 even. Let's see where the money is going. All right, 31% going with New York. 69% going with Memphis in this one. So people betting heavily on the favorite, and I think you should join the public in that one as well. Even on the spread, over unders at 244.5, minus 110 even, and it's even here too on the money, 50-50. With that total being so high, I would test that. I'm testing those odds, especially since there's nothing really to go by, even on the money, even on the cost. I would test this theory right here. Minus 110 under. But watch how that cost adjusts. If the cost adjusts at all, you go with the one that makes the most sense. Minus 105, minus 120, minus 112. Those are the odds that win the most of the time, and minus 118 sometimes. But I'm going with the under in that one. Let's go to the next one. Next one is the New Orleans Phoenix game. Plus 215, minus 260 for the Phoenix Suns. Plus 115 for the Pelicans. Spread is at 6.5 points, favoring the Suns at minus 112 cost. Underdog Pelicans are at minus 108 cost at 6.5 point underdogs. Over under 236.5, minus 110 cost. Over under. Let's see where the money is going here. Let me scroll down. All right, 56% going with the Phoenix Suns in this one. 44% going with the Pelicans in this one. Now, if the Pelicans are at full strength, then that's when you really need to consider. If the Pelicans are at full strength, that's when you really need to consider the Pelicans as a viable option to bet on the money line. But as it currently stands, Phoenix looks like a good pick. I think this minus 112 might flip. This might flip to Pelicans, and Phoenix Suns spread is going to be minus 108 on the spread as a favorite, 6.5 points. I would go with Phoenix on the ML, Pelicans on the spread, only as it currently stands. Because I feel like that minus 112 is going to flip. This is going to flip, I think. Minus 108. By the end of the day, this is going to be minus 108 for Phoenix, minus 112 for the Pelicans. And yeah, that's how I would do that, only as it currently stands. Over under 236.5 even. I would join the public and go with the under in that one. I would join the public and go with the under in that one. All right, Minnesota versus Utah, minus 142, plus 120. Minus 142 for Minnesota. I would go with Minnesota in that one. 3-point spread. Let's see where the money is going. 35% going. Yeah, they're looking to get this payday. I'm going with Minnesota on the road, as well as Minnesota on the spread. Over unders 80%. I'm going with the overs, joining the public in that one. That's fairly easy to look at. All right, LA Battle of LA, minus 178 plus 150, minus 4.5, minus 110 costs. plus 4.5 minus 110 cost for the Lakers at home. Over under 219.5 minus 110 cost. Lakers on a hot streak after Luka just is playing right now after being traded. And yeah, 82% in favor of LA. The Lakers in that one. I would join the public only because that's going to change. The Sharps are going to go with the Clippers in this one, as well as them on the spread. But I'm hold this pick only if the Sharps are the heavy bettors that bet late. I would hold this pick across the board. LA over under 219.5. I'm probably fading the public and going over in that one. But it is a very relatively low total. So I see why they're going under. But I'm going with the over 219.5. But yeah, those are my picks for the day. I will see you guys in the next video. I've been Scott. Join the Patreon for all picks. And yeah, you guys take care.